Welcome to the podcast. I'm Max from Muscle World, and today I'm going to read a chapter from my book, Challenge What You Think, Believe What Is Possible. True stories of determination with lessons to improve mental and physical robustness. So whether you're on your commute, chilling at home, or out for a walk, sit back, relax, or keep moving, and let's dive in. I hope it inspires you as much as it inspired me to write it. Chapter 1. Pushed to the limit. My calves were scorched by painful lactic acid. My muscles leached the red blood cells faster than my heart could supply. Constant beads of sweat trickled down my forehead, providing no relief to my overheating body. The sweat flowed down my cheeks and met on my chin, gathering their masses before dripping down to the floor to join the large pool of perspiration beneath me. As I struggled to keep my breathing under control, I could not comprehend the unbelievable heat. There was no airflow. Air conditioning was not a thing in these days. I couldn't breathe. If there was a hell, this most certainly was it. But there was no escape. Slightly in front of me and to the right was Johnny. I could see him in my peripheral vision. While not really a friend of mine, he was more someone that I knew. A boisterous lad and a well-known maverick. He was a few years older than me, fitter, stronger, more athletic. His blonde hair and dashing good looks quickly made way for a grimace as his complexion rapidly began to resemble that of a strawberry. He was in an even worse state than I was, his head hanging loosely down as he struggled to keep his composure, his movements becoming more erratic, sloppy, limp. It soon dawned on me that watching someone else absolutely hanging out while I myself was in the hurt locker was quite a comforting experience. In a non-sadistic way, it actually made me feel a little bit better. I grew stronger and it gave me the drive to keep my head up and keep going. I bit the bullet and kept the pace. Every fibre in my body began to scream. Was this nightmare ever going to end? And there it came like a wailing banshee. Finally, a loud, defeated groan erupted from behind me, piercing the dull sounds of heavy breathing that echoed around the hall. Someone had given up. This created a domino effect, as seconds later behind me again another sound of failure, this time more like a whimper. I glanced over at Johnny to see how he was getting on. His upper back was rounded, shoulders hunched forward, panting heavily. My eyes locked onto his quivering legs just in time to watch him grind to a halt. He hunched forward, hands on his thighs as he began to retch. He turned to face me as the tears streamed down his face like Niagara Falls, and I could see he had been well and truly broken. For a brief moment that felt like eternity, we locked eyes, and I could see the pain and felt his defeat deep within my soul. Johnny ran to the back of the hall calling for his mother. I returned my gaze to the front and cracked on. All around me boys were dropping like flies. I held my head up, looking directly at the instructor. Stood at the front was a young girl, possibly a teenager who had been well and truly pushed out of her depth. She was not a real instructor. In fact, she was a senior student. This was a taekwondo lesson and the actual instructor was stuck in a traffic jam. The young lady had been asked to fill in and take the warm-up for the remaining 15 students. She started us off with jumping jacks, and 45 minutes later, with no stopping, no rest or water breaks, we were still at it. I was only 9 years old, and this was my first introduction to the true grit of pushing my limits.